We are going to study about human activities, chapter number 5. Economic activities may be defined as various occupations or pursuits whereby man earns the means to satisfy his various needs like those of food, clothing, shelter. Okay. There is an overwhelming influence of environment on economic activities of man. These activities are extremely diverse because there are wide differences in resource and domains and the technologies available for exploiting these resources. Ke o ambasa a kasaydu achu chapter indot pon kanjir ho don lava chapter poimo mo bot exam huna po mark putam torle chapter poimo ka kanjir masabik don ani economic activities kanti chuanin mishing ten kandam ko chhuat heina turata na kan momo zual pui internan ei tur cho kan tiang chi te sil le fen te le chen na tur in kan nei the na tur ta na kong sang sang kan tho kha economic activities kan de chu ni a kan environment na zirin mishing te hianin na sang sang e zon sang sang kan nei a internan le chat na mun water supply chat na mun kan tiang chi te e khatianga kha chuanin lo nei te khanin e an zong tlang puya tin mineral resources a hausak na hmun ang chi tinan coal abik takin basic raw materials kan ti coal le iron ore le chwa tamna hmuna chuanin an eizon na kha industry din kha ni le ta a tin chumi baka chuanin grassland ave thung hi chuanin ran rol khan vul chen ni omja chu environment khan kan environment zer zel khan kan na tho kan eizon na bulpi berapo kha ain anglo em ani human activities may be divided into four groups. That is primary activities, secondary activities, tertiary activities, and quaternary activities. Okay. Human activities kan ti hi group pali an chena class 9 akhan kan zir to hi in the shevik in karinga amero chu toite te shathyam dan to all samin kan soinon leang human activities kan ti chi sang sang pali te chu primary activities te secondary activities te tertiary activities le quaternary activities kan ti te henia now primary activities are those activities which are directly related to the immediate environment of man and are dependent on naturally occurring resources land forests mines ke primary activities kan ti chuan internan kan hriat thiam dan tur ol sam tara chuanin nature ne na in kung kai na nei kan na tho kan ei zon na ang chi khani ta internan agriculture kan ti ang chi te lo nei mo mining thil le chwa pastoralism ranvul kan ti ang chi ho kha primary activities ni now secondary activities the activities which add value to primary products by transforming them from raw state into finished products is called secondary activities. Okay. Secondary activities kan ti hi chu thil siam chua lampang kha ni ve thunga manufacturing services anti bok thina ni entirnan iron atanga steel kan siam chuang chi te tin bamboo bao atanga paper kan siam chuang chi te hi secondary activities kan ti te chu ni a now tertiary activities the activities which include transport and communication, commerce and services of professional experts is known as tertiary activities. Okay. Tertiary activities kan ti chu service sector sang sang heng transport, communication, trade and commerce in galpona in biakpona in sumdon ton na kan ti ang chi awa hi tertiary activities kan ti chu ni. Quaternary activities the activities which are related to the field of information research and management is known as quaternary activities. Okay. Quaternary activities hi information research and management in akai hoi activities sang sang te entirnan education kan ti ang chi te tin medical science damdoi lampang te defense inven himna lampang ang chi kan ti ang chi ho zong song kha quaternary activities kan ti chuni. Now two types of subsistence farming. There are two types of subsistence farmings: shifting and sedentary subsistence farming. Okay. Now shifting cultivation. Shifting agriculture is a primitive of agriculture in which there is no private ownership of land and the land belongs to community, village or tribes. Okay. The forests are clear and burn them off. After using the clear forest for 2 or 3 years, the land is left fallow because of decrease in fertility. Okay. There is no application of manures and fertilizer and no use of draught animals. Cultivation is done with very primitive tools and manual labor is employed in all agriculture operation. Okay. Kan ngai thak ang khanin subsistence agriculture kan te hi hlom lian deuh chin hi an thena chungte chu shifting cultivation kan ti le sedentary subsistence farming kan ti khani ta a. Shifting cultivation kan ti hi kan ngai thlak to ang khan primitive type of farming kan ti khani a ya chuanin ramngok a thingle mau kan ti ang chi te kha anwata hi an hal ala chumi nuwa chuan thlai kha an ching thin ni. Shifting cultivation ani ang hianin i khami hmuna khan kumhni te emaw kumthum te emaw i nge thlai kha chingin khami nuwa khanin an in son thina a chan chu le thatna kha alo dak to thina wang khanin kumhni kumthum azona thlai an chin kha chuan le khan da khun kha lo nei thina le thatna kha lo tla niam thina chu wang chuanin an lo nei na mun kha an son le thina ni. Chuanin shifting cultivation kan ti he chuanin manures and fertilizer kan ti ang chi le ti thatna kan ti ang chi te tin enge na thok tur po khanin le le turan chhor kan ti ang chi te khan om lawa farmers chung kwa ho khanin farmers family kan ti ho khanin an mani te khanin na kha an thok an thlai chin khan en kol theni chuan thlai chin atana an man ro man kan ti ang chi po hi man ro hlui so nge chem kom kan ti ang chi te tu thlok kan ti ang chi te kha an mang thina modern agriculture implements kan ti ang chi tractor thresher harvester kan ti ang chi ho kha shifting cultivation as chuan an mang ve ngai lo ani. Now sedentary subsistence agriculture. This type of farming is practiced in tropical lowlands, where the farming community stays permanently in one spot. Hand implements are used and there is a greater employment of manpower. Use of draught animals like buffaloes, swines, and horses for farm operations. Crop rotation is also practiced in some places and greater attention is given to the land and the crops are sown. Crops are grown in the cool season and grow throughout the rainy period to be harvested in dry season. Okay. Sedentary subsistence agriculture hi chuanin shifting cultivation ang lo tak khan mun pakhata an in beng bela shifting cultivation a chuan kan soi to ang khan kumhni kumthum te azona thlain chin kha chuanin kumhni kumthum hnuwa kha chuan le alo chia to thina wangin kundangan in son thin kan ti to kha amero chu sedentary subsistence agriculture a ve thung hi chuanin an thlai chin mun kha an son ve ngai lawa anga ya khan thlai kha an ching ngor thina ni. Chuanin enge drought animals kan ti ang chi enge an thlai chin mun le tu tur tang khan ran te po khan chhor thina tin chumi ba ka chuanin enge manro changkang zok kha lo ne na atan manro agriculture implements kan ti ang chi po kha changkang zok khan pang thini tin an thlai chin mun kha an son ve ngai lawa anga ya mun nga ya khanin thlai an chin char china wang khanin le khan da khun nei ve china kha le da ti thale tur tang khan thlai kha angai ngor ching ngawin thlai kha an ching thak thleng an ching kwal china ni thlai chi sang kha thlai pakhat chau ching lo khan thlai chi sang kha an ching kwal china ni chuanin an thlai chin reng kha e thlai hi nge cool season an ching tlang poya tin dry season mo a khanin thlai kha an sing khom le tlang pui chin ni. Now pastoralism. Grazing and rearing of animal is the main occupation of people in the grassland. In tropical lands having hot and wet climate, elephants are rare. In desert, camels are rare. In cold regions, yaks and reindeers are rare. While in cool, temperate grassland, cattle are rare in large number. Okay. Rearing of animal is done to obtain food in the form of meat and dairy products, and to plough the fields, to use them as beasts of burden and for work purposes, and as source of raw materials for clothing in the form of wool, hides, skins, and bones. Okay. Ranvul kanti akha grassland na cheng ti tang khanin an ezon na bulpui berani ta a tin tropical land enge mun climate lum lutuk le non lutuk na muna khanin elephants kha an vul chena desert chuanin camels an vula tin cold regions a mun vul lutuka kha chuanin yaks le reindeers an vula tin temperate grassland a kha chuanin ranrual bong kan tiang chi te kel beram kan tiang chi kha an vul chena ni ran vula kha an e zonna bulpui ber ani awang khan e turan nei thena tura tang khanin ran kha an vul chena tin chumi ba ka chuan leilet tu tura tan te tin ange e bungrua phur tu tura tan te ho chumi ba ka chuan thom no siam chuan a tan te khanin ran kha an vul chena ni. Pastoralism may be divided into two types, that is nomadic animal grazing and commercial animal grazing. Okay. Pastoralism kanti hi chini a anchana nomadic animal grazing le commercial animal grazing anchana ni. Now nomadic animal grazing. Nomadic pastoralism is prevalent in desert or semi-desert areas of the world. Okay. These tribes do not live a settled life, rather they move from one place to another in search of fodder and water. Nomads are purely dependent on natural vegetation for feeding their animals. In some areas, these nomads migrate seasonally, and this seasonal migration of nomads along with their animals is called transhumance. Nomadic animal grazing kante hi abik takin desert le semi-desert khovela thaler mun kanti akhanin enge anlar mema atlang puinan practice train ni sukhang muna te khan chuanin nomadic animal grazing a hi chuanin ranful tu te khan mun nget an nei lawa ranina amamo turan eile in tur an cho tur te mo tui in tur te athana muna pianga khanin an pe me cheni chuanin natural vegetation a khanin in ngata ran cho tur han chen te mo ka tiang khan nei lawa natural vegetation a khan nomadic animal grazing kan tia nomad chau ka chuanin natural vegetation a khan in ngatla dani tin mun then khata chuanin nomads kan ti hawa kha ran vul tu te kan ti hawa kha hun big ne ya khanin an ran rual te nei khan an pe me chin amain kan sei to kha om hun het an nei lawa an ran rual te na an mamo e tur cho kan ti ang chi ti le tui om na piang khan an pe me chin kan ti to kha chuan khatia anga an ran rual te ne na hun big ne ya pem ton chin hawa kha an minga transhumance te nan wani. Now characteristics of nomadic pastoralism. Nomadic herding is a subsistence economic activity, and nomads migrate from place to place in search of pasture. Okay. Animals are completely dependent on natural vegetation. Therefore, neither fodder crops nor grass is raised by the nomads. Okay? Nomads entirely dependent on animals' products for their necessities and trade their products against agricultural and other finished products. Okay? The number of cattle heads owned by a person is the indicative of his social standing among the nomadic groups. Different parts of the world have different domestic animals. Okay? The desert land have camels, while the grassland have sheep. Goats are rare in scrubland. Tundra has the reindeers, while the Tibetan have their yaks. Okay. Kan ngai thak to angkhanin nomadic pastoralism, nomadic animal grazing kan tia hi chuanin nomad chau khanin an mun an son thina mun ke tan nei lo kan ti to kha ran rwal dena an ei tur tui le cho thatna muna khan an pe me thina tin ran te kha an ei tur bik cho te khatia kha I nge chin sak an ni ve ngai lawa natural vegetation a khan an in hat tlat kan ti to boka tin animal products a khan in hat ne me maran pul tu te kha an sa te khatyang khanin an sumdon atan an mang thina an mamo pushuk na atan khanin khatyanga ran atanga an poisa mu chaka thil dang an mamo leina atan khan an mang le theni chuanin ran rual nga ang chi hawa kha nomadic group zinga pok khanin a ho tu mo ran nga apyang kha ho tu khan ni zel meya kovel mun sanga hianin kan ran vol te hin ang lo ema desert thalera chuanin camel an vola grassland a chuanin sheep an vol thunga scrapland a hianin goats an vola tin tundra region a hianin reindeers an vola tin Tibet a ve thung chuanin yaks kha an vol thin ni The number of nomadic tribes is declining because expansion of agriculture in the grassland and their employment in industries ke nomadic tribes kan ti ran vul tu te hi akumatel hanin tlaniam tel tel hi a chan chu ran tlat na tur grassland kan ti kha agriculture practice na atan te an manawang le industry din na atan an manawang khanin ran vul tu kha akumatel khanin kovela hian an tlaniam tel tel ani Now commercial animal grazing. Animal rearing is no longer a primitive occupation. It is done on scientific lines in USA. Okay? Animals are reared for meat and milk and money is earned by selling various animal products. Okay? Commercial animal grazing ay chuan commercial ani ang hianin an ran vul te khasum do na tang khan ran kha an vul chini. Chuanin nge commercial animal grazing kan ti so big in USA kan ti te USA ba ka hian Denmark New Zealand Australia kan ti ati hanin vul china kan ngai thak tong khan commercial animal grazing ani ang nge in ran an vul chana ka chu asa te anu te te katyang ka shal sumatana vul kha ni ne Now characteristics of commercial animal grazing Rearing of animal is done on a commercial scale and animal products are sold into the market to earn profit. The cattle owners no longer move up and down looking out for new pastures. Instead, fodder crops are grown over large areas. Hybrid breeds of animals are reared for milk or meat and great emphasis is laid on disease control and health care of the animals. Grazing is done on large areas extending over hundreds of kilometers with specific areas open for grazing only so that to avoid overgrazing. Commercial animal grazing is practiced in developed countries of the world. For example, Western Canada and US, Veld region of South Africa, temperate grassland of Australia and New Zealand, Denmark and Holland. Kan ngai thak to ang khan commercial animal grazing chuan ranan vul chan bul pui bera chu commercial ani ang khan sum don atan khanin sum hai lo na atang khan ran khan vul che ni chuanin commercial animal grazing a hi chuan an ran vul dan hi tle min a changkang hrita e ran vul tu te kha an pem ton ve ngai lawa mun pakhata in beng belin ran chaw tur fodder crops kan tiang chi hawa kha mo e an ching mai thina ni chuan ran kha kan ngai thlak to angin sum don na tan sum hai lo na tan a vulan ni awang khanin ran an vul po khan ran chi tha zel mo khatiang chi a hlok tur ang chi zel kha an vul thina tin an lam lo chang pon an ngai sak em a dam doi nen khan an enkol zung zung theni overgrazing ran vula wanga le kal ralna kan ti ang chi a kha mo le tha kal ralna ang chi kha thlen lo na tur tan khan ran huang bik zau tak khan nei china ran da khom tur ang chi a kha mo khami a khanin ran kha an vul me cheni ada khom na tur bik ran huang bik a kha an siam thina e kalai muna khan ran kha an vul me cheni commercial animal grazing kan ti he chu khovel mun sang sang Western Canada le US kan ti ate Wild Region South Africa ate tim Australia le New Zealand a temperate grassland kan ti ate Denmark le Holland ate e commercial animal grazing he chuan practice train ni that's all for today thank you